Have you ever spoken and watched your words disappear into thin air? Have you ever performed an act of love and felt it go completely unnoticed? Have you ever stood in a room full of people and felt like a ghost? This is the quiet agony of invisibility, a feeling so profound it can make you question if you even exist. You begin to believe that your presence has no weight, that your voice has no resonance. But what if you have been looking at this all wrong? What if your invisibility is not a reflection of your worthlessness, but a sign of a power so immense you have been forced to hide it from yourself? The great psychologist Carl Jung taught that our outer reality is often a mirror of our inner state. The reason you feel unseen by others is because you first made a vital part of yourself invisible. You have taken your raw power, your right to take up space, your solid, unwavering presence, and you have exiled it to the shadow. You have made yourself smaller, lighter, easier to overlook, all in the name of keeping others comfortable. This form of shadow work is about reclaiming your own gravity. Today, we're going to explore this painful gift of being unseen. We will uncover the Jungian reason why feeling invisible is a direct call to reclaim your power. You will meet a mother who felt like a ghost in her own home until she learned how to become solid again. And you will be guided through a simple, powerful, body-based exercise to help you start inhabiting your own life with the weight and substance you deserve. It is time to stop being a ghost. It is time to remember you are a mountain.
To feel invisible is to become a ghost in your own life. You are present in body, but not in substance. You move through the rooms of your home. You sit at the tables of your work, but your energy leaves no impression. Your presence has lost its weight, its gravity. This is not a poetic exaggeration. It is a precise description of a deep psychological state. And it begins with a choice often made so early and so unconsciously we do not even remember making it. The choice to shrink. We learn, often as children, that our full presence, our big emotions, our loud laughter, our unwavering needs can be inconvenient for others. They can take up too much space. They can make the adults in the room uncomfortable. So we learn to retract. We pull our energy inward. We make ourselves smaller, quieter, less demanding. We become experts at reading the room and adjusting our own energetic volume to match. This is a brilliant survival strategy. It keeps us safe. It ensures we belong. But there is a profound cost to this strategy when carried into adulthood. By consistently making ourselves smaller to accommodate others, we are, in essence, practicing the art of disappearing. We are training our own nervous system and the nervous systems of those around us to treat our presence as optional. This is the Jungian principle of the mirror. The outer world, especially in our closest relationships, rarely gives us something we are not first giving to ourselves. If you are consistently treating your own needs, opinions, and energy as secondary, the world will simply agree with you. It will mirror back your own self-dismissal. The painful truth is, we teach people how to see us. And many of us have spent a lifetime teaching everyone we know that it is perfectly safe to look right through us. Let's talk about Sarah. Sarah is a 43-year-old mother. If you were to ask her family, they would describe her as the center of their universe, the one who makes everything run, the one who remembers the birthdays, packs the lunches, schedules the appointments. Her persona is that of the competent, ever-present matriarch. On a Sunday, she spends the entire afternoon making a special dinner, a complicated recipe her family loves. She fills the house with warmth and delicious smells. At the table, her husband and teenage children eat quickly, talking about their week, their plans, their screens. They finish, thank her distractedly, and disperse back to their own worlds. Sarah is left alone at the table, surrounded by the evidence of her love and her labor, and she is overcome by a feeling not of anger, but of profound emptiness, of transparency. She looks at her hands on the table and feels as if she could see right through them. She did not receive the appreciation she craved, yes, but the wound is deeper than that. It is the feeling that the immense effort, the very energy she poured out, was invisible. And if her energy is invisible, then she, herself, must be invisible. Later that week, she has an idea at work, a brilliant solution to a problem the team has been struggling with. In a meeting, she waits for the perfect moment to share it. But the conversation moves quickly, loudly. The more aggressive voices dominate. The space never opens up. She drives home, her brilliant idea still sitting like a stone in her chest. She did not just fail to share an idea. She experienced a dismissal of her own inner world. Her wisdom, her competence, invisible. These moments accumulate. They are the slow, quiet erosion of the self. You start to believe the story the world is reflecting back to you, that your contributions are just background noise, that your needs are not important enough to interrupt the flow of conversation, that your presence is simply part of the furniture. This is the state of being a ghost. You haunt the halls of your own life. And the most insidious part of this is that it feels true. You lose the ability to feel your own substance. This is where the shadow work begins, because Carl Jung would say that the substance, the weight, the power you have lost has not been destroyed. It cannot be destroyed. It has simply been relegated to the shadow. Every time you shrank to make someone else feel bigger, that piece of your power was stored. Every time you silenced your wisdom to keep the peace, that wisdom was stored. Every time you made your needs invisible, that life force was stored. Your shadow, in this case, is not a place of darkness. It is a vault, a reserve. It holds all the power, presence, and substance you have been too afraid to claim. The feeling of invisibility, therefore, is not a curse. It is a homing signal. It is a flashing arrow pointing you away from the endless, fruitless quest for external validation and directing you back toward the source of your own lost power. It is inviting you to stop looking for your reflection in the eyes of others and to start feeling your own weight, here, now, in the center of your own being. To realize your shadow holds your lost substance is to discover a secret bank account in your own name. The funds are there. The power is there. The question is, how do you make a withdrawal? The answer is profoundly simple, yet requires a radical shift in focus. To reclaim your presence, you must turn your attention away from the outer world of performance and validation and return it to the inner world of sensation and embodiment. You cannot think your way into feeling solid. You must feel your way into it. This is the physics of presence. An object with greater density has a stronger gravitational field. It naturally draws other things toward it. In the human psyche, this density is created by embodiment, the act of fully inhabiting your own physical form. When you are living entirely in your head, in your worries, your to-do lists, the analysis of others, your energy is scattered. You are like a cloud of vapor, light, diffuse, and easy to walk through. When you are embodied, when your awareness is grounded in your physical self, your energy becomes concentrated. You're like a stone, solid, present, and undeniable. The parts of ourselves we exiled to the shadow to become invisible are precisely the parts that connect us to this embodied gravitational power. Let's name 3 of them. First, we exiled our sovereign space. This is our right to take up physical and energetic space in the world. As children, we may have learned it was safer to be small, to not be in the way. As adults, this translates to pulling our shoulders in, speaking softly, letting others interrupt us. We physically shrink, and our energetic field shrinks with us. Our shadow holds the memory of our full, unapologetic size. Second, we exiled our stillness. In a culture that worships productivity, stillness is seen as laziness. A ghost is always busy, always fluttering, never at rest. We feel guilty for doing nothing. We have forgotten how to simply be. But stillness is not emptiness. It is a state of deep energetic coherence. It is in stillness that our scattered energy gathers, consolidates, and becomes dense. Our shadow holds our capacity for profound, restorative stillness. And third, we exiled our self-priority. This is not selfishness. Selfishness takes from others. Self-priority is the act of giving to yourself first, of ensuring your cup is full. We have learned to see this as a moral failing. We have abandoned the practice of nourishing our own core. Our shadow holds the radical truth that we cannot give what we do not have. The work of reclaiming your presence, this specific form of shadow work, is the physical act of calling these 3 exiled parts back home, into your body. It is less about psychological analysis and more about somatic or body-based practice. Let's return to Sarah. She now understands that her feeling of invisibility is a mirror of her own self-abandonment. She sees how she has made herself small and optional in her own life. So she doesn't start by trying to make her family notice her more. That is still focusing on the outside world. She starts by focusing on herself. She begins to practice reclaiming her sovereign space. When she is standing in line at the grocery store, instead of hunching over her phone, she stands up straight. She plants her feet firmly on the ground. She lets her shoulders relax and widen. She imagines her energy field, her personal bubble, expanding to a comfortable arm's length around her. She is not being aggressive. She is simply quietly taking up the space that is rightfully hers. At first, it feels strange, almost arrogant, but after a few days, she notices something. She feels more real. Next, she reclaims her stillness. Instead of using her rare moments alone to frantically tidy up, she experiments with doing nothing. One afternoon, while her children are out, she sets a timer for 10 minutes. She makes a cup of tea and sits by the window. She doesn't read, she doesn't scroll. She just sips her tea and watches the leaves on a tree. Her mind screams with all the things she should be doing. The guilt is immense. But she stays. She breathes. And in the last 2 minutes, a quietness descends. A feeling of peace she hasn't felt in years. It is the feeling of her own energy no longer rushing outwards, finally settling back into itself. Finally, she practices self-priority. She knows she cannot take a vacation, but she can claim a small piece of her day. She decides that the first 15 minutes after she gets home from work are hers. She communicates this to her family, not as a demand, but as a simple statement of need. I need 15 minutes to decompress by myself in my room when I get home. After that, I am all yours. The first time, it feels like a monumental betrayal of her role. But her family, after a moment of surprise, simply says, "Okay." And in that moment, she realizes that the cage was never locked from the outside. These are not grand gestures. They are tiny, consistent acts of self-reclamation. Each time she stands tall, each time she sits in stillness, each time she honors her need for a small pocket of time, she is calling a piece of her exiled shadow back home. She is not becoming louder. She is becoming denser. She is cultivating her own gravity. She notices a subtle shift. When she speaks at the dinner table, her voice seems to carry more weight. Her family seems to pause and listen a little more. When she walks into a room, her presence feels more grounded, less ethereal. She has not changed them. She has changed the energetic information she is emitting. She is no longer broadcasting the signal of optional. She is broadcasting the quiet, powerful, undeniable signal of, "I am here."
To know that your substance is stored in your shadow is a powerful realization. But to feel that substance return to your body is a resurrection. The journey to reclaim your presence is not a mental exercise, it is a physical one. It is the act of re-inhabiting the territory of your own body, of calling your scattered energy home, and of cultivating a felt sense of your own gravity. The following is a simple, powerful, body-based shadow work ritual. It takes less than 3 minutes. You can do it anywhere, anytime you feel yourself starting to become transparent, or anytime you want to consciously ground your presence. I call it the gravity ritual. I invite you to try this with me now, if you are in a space where you can, or simply listen and feel into the instructions. The first step is to find your feet. If you are sitting, place both feet flat on the floor. If you are standing, stand with your feet about shoulder width apart. Close your eyes if that feels comfortable. Now bring all of your attention down, out of your head, down through your body, and into the soles of your feet. Feel the texture of your socks or the floor. Feel the points of contact. Feel the solid ground beneath you, holding you, supporting you completely. Imagine roots growing down from the soles of your feet deep into the earth. You are not floating. You are anchored. You are connected. Silently, in your mind, say the words, "I am here." Feel the truth of that statement in your bones. The second step is to occupy your cylinder. Now, bring your awareness to the space your body occupies. Imagine a cylinder of light all around you, from about a foot above your head to a foot below your feet, and extending out to about arm's length in all directions. This is your sovereign, personal space. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in, imagine your energy expanding to fill this entire cylinder. Fill it with your presence. As you exhale, let go of any energy that is not yours, any worries, any expectations, any other people's dramas that you have been carrying. Let them dissolve outside your cylinder. Breathe in, filling your space. Breathe out, clearing your space. Silently, say the words, "This space is mine." This is not an aggressive act. It is a simple, energetic fact. You have a right to your own container. The third and final step is to call your energy home. Throughout your day, you have sent little pieces of your energy and attention out into the world. You have left some in a work email, some in a worry about a loved one, some in a memory of the past. Your energy is scattered across time and space. Now, you are going to call it all back.
Imagine that all these scattered pieces of you are tiny golden threads of light. With your next deep breath in, imagine you are gently but powerfully drawing all of those golden threads back to you. Visualize them flowing back from all directions, from the past and the future, returning to your center, right behind your navel. Feel them coiling and gathering there, creating a dense, warm, heavy ball of your own pure life force. With each breath, you are becoming more solid, more dense, more present. You are gathering your own weight. Silently, say the words, "I am whole." Now take one more deep breath, and when you are ready, you can open your eyes. Notice how you feel. Perhaps a little calmer, a little heavier, a little more real. This ritual is a profound act of shadow work. Each step is a reclamation. By finding your feet, you are reclaiming your connection to the earth and your right to be here. By occupying your cylinder, you are reclaiming your sovereign space from the exiled shadow. By calling your energy home, you are reclaiming your power from all the places you have given it away. Let's imagine Sarah practicing this. She does it in her car for 3 minutes before walking into her house after work. She finds her feet on the floor mats. She occupies the space of the driver's seat. She calls her energy back from the difficult clients and the demanding colleagues. She walks into her home not as a depleted ghost, but as a woman who is grounded in her own being. She is calmer. She has more substance. That evening, at the dinner table, when she speaks, her voice has a new resonance, a new gravity, not because she is speaking louder, but because she's speaking from a place of fullness. She's speaking from her whole, embodied self. And her family, perhaps unconsciously at first, responds to this shift. They pause. They listen. She is no longer easy to look through. This is the power that was hidden in your invisibility, the power of embodiment. The journey to be seen by others begins with the sacred, physical act of feeling yourself. Your presence is not a performance you put on for others. It is a state of being you cultivate for yourself. You stop being a ghost when you remember that you have a body. You stop being invisible when you give yourself permission to have weight. You are not a wisp of smoke. You are a mountain. You have always been a mountain. This work is simply the act of remembering your own magnificent, unshakable substance.
Today, we have looked into the heart of a quiet, pervasive pain, the pain of feeling invisible. And we have discovered a profound truth. Your invisibility was never a statement about your worth. It was a strategy for your survival. Through the wisdom of Carl Jung, we have learned that feeling unseen by the outer world is a mirror, reflecting a part of us that we first made invisible to ourselves. We exiled our power, our presence, and our right to take up space into the shadow, all in an effort to keep the peace and belong. But we did not leave that power in the vault. We learned that the path to reclaiming it is not mental, but physical. It is the journey of embodiment. We discovered the physics of presence, that by reclaiming our sovereign space, our stillness, and our self-priority, we are not becoming louder, but denser. We are cultivating our own inner gravity. And you now have a sacred practice to begin this reclamation. The gravity ritual. A simple 3-minute body-based exercise to find your feet, occupy your space, and call your energy home. This is the practical, repeatable act of remembering your own substance.
This is the power hidden in your shadow. The power to be here, now, fully. When you are anchored in your own being, you no longer need the world to validate your existence. Your own felt sense of presence becomes your anchor. You stop being a ghost haunting the edges of your life, and you start becoming the mountain at its center. Unshakable, undeniable, real. But as you practice this, as you begin to feel more solid and present in yourself, a new and uncomfortable feeling may arise. You stand tall in your own space, you honor your own needs, you speak your truth, and suddenly you are met with a familiar, cold wave. Guilt. The old conditioning rushes back in. The voice that says, "You are being selfish. You are disappointing people. You are not the good person you are supposed to be." This guilt can be so powerful, it can threaten to undo all of your progress, convincing you to shrink back into the familiar comfort of invisibility. How do we stand in our newfound power without being crippled by the guilt that comes with it? How do we differentiate between healthy responsibility and toxic, self-abandoning guilt? Learning to navigate the treacherous waters of guilt is the next essential step in freeing your shadow and living an authentic life. That is the deep, liberating work we will undertake in our very next conversation. For this week, your invitation is simple yet profound. Practice the gravity ritual. Just once a day for 3 minutes, feel yourself becoming solid. To anchor this practice, to give your experience a voice in this community, I invite you to share in the comments below. Describe a time you felt invisible using only 3 words. For example, shared my heart, silence. Worked so hard, unnoticed. Needed help, no one. By writing it down, you make the invisible visible. You take the first step in reclaiming your story. And together, we will witness each other. We will see each other. Your journey to becoming solid has begun.